Change is the new constant. On average, healthy businesses take on 5 major organization-wide changes every 3 years. And statistics tell us that half of these initiatives fail. And only 34% of these types of changes are a clear success. Today on the Champion Forum podcast, I will present to you a mindset shift that will help you become better equipped to lead through these organizational changes that are inevitably coming to your place of business. Welcome back to the show, everyone. We are fresh from our quarterly live Executive Mastermind event. The topic of discussion that we encountered with this team of executives and these senior leaders that are part of the JHE Executive Mastermind was that of organizational change. I thought it was a great topic of discussion because as senior leaders and as executives, we're at the tip of the spear, if you will, of leading this change, of the implementation, the communication, and the process there throughout. And there were so many robust and rich discussions at the table and plenty of benchmarking that happened about best practices, failures that through change that we've learned from. And it was just some really, really good dialogue. Of course, I moderated these discussions and I navigated the group through what I believe are the best 8 steps that senior leaders need to take to ensure that change goes smoothly and that it's more seamless than maybe it would be if you didn't have a process at all. And the 8 steps are critical steps, no question about it. They can't be missed. However, the follow-up feedback that was so overwhelming was the part of the discussion when I discussed the mindset of those that were being asked to change. So keep this in mind. I put hours into this content. We're having good table discussions. I got these great 8 steps to a successful change management process. But there was a section in this moderation that I talked about the people that we're asking to go through this change. Our team, our employees. We allowed ourselves in that room to get into this mindset of the people that we were asking to make the change. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You see, by the time that we're making the organizational change announcement to our organization, we've already processed the change. You know, we've already mourned the old way being gone, and we're already excited about the new way that's coming. We see the benefits of what's coming. We see the benefits of the change, and now all we are is excited to embark on the change and get this thing going because there's greener pastures ahead. But it's very important to remember what we're asking our people to do. This could be big, especially if it's an organization-wide change. This could be big. Think about the most significant change initiatives that you've made in the last 5 years that didn't go well. Think of the most significant ones, and you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, that was a disaster. Didn't go well. Have you ever looked back and asked, what were some of the reasons why? Think about those changes. These 2, these 3, they didn't go well. Have you ever really dug deep into finding out why they didn't go well? What were the reasons they didn't go well? And what was the most difficult part of leading the change? If you think back to any change initiative that you've led or you've been asked to lead, what was the most difficult part about announcing, implementing, and leading through the change? Let me guess. You said the people, right? You said the people were the biggest challenge. I will tell you, you're not alone if that's what you said in your mind. This was the overwhelming response of the room during the Executive Mastermind event. And I will tell you this. Poll after national poll, this is what we hear from leaders as their biggest challenge in organizational change and managing through change. It's the people. Oh my gosh, no matter what I do, no matter how I roll it out, no matter how I tell them how great this change is going to be for everybody, the people I don't have adopters. People are resistant to change. You've heard all of this. And look, we're no different. As leaders, we're no different. But the next time that you're embarking on change, I want you to challenge yourself to put yourself in the shoes of the people that you're asking to make the change with. Think about this. When we're creating the whiteboard sessions, the change committee is meeting, is any part of that us saying, how do you think the people will feel? What are they thinking about? How is this going to affect them? Matter of fact, let me throw this at you. Everybody listening today or watching on YouTube or social media, you all are listening, and let's role play here. You're all led by me. I'm your leader. I'm the leader of our organization. We're in a company-wide meeting, and I make this announcement. Hey, everyone, I have some really exciting changes to present to you all regarding your compensation plans. Now let's let that sit in. How does this landing with you? Hey, everyone, I have some really exciting changes about your comp plans. It doesn't matter how excited I am and how great I tell you it's going to be. There's this level of hesitation. There's this level of, are you telling me you're about to mess with my pay? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm concerned. I haven't even rolled out how good the plan is going to be. Your first reaction almost always is, oh my, this is not going to be good. Why are we messing with this? I'm coming off the best year I ever had financially, and now we're going to go change the comp plan? We're all wired this way to some degree. Here's what I want you to think about. People don't resist change. They resist loss. What are we asking people to give up? When we're embarking on this exciting change, air quotes, what are we asking people to give up? Think about this. Some of you, this might even be personal for you. Your parents start telling you back when you were a child that you're moving into a bigger, nicer house. We're going to have a bigger yard to play in. Your bedrooms are going to be bigger. They're telling you about all the great things that are going to happen. And you're sitting there thinking about what you're losing. My best friend Johnny lives next door. He's not coming with us. That tree out back that I built my first tree house, I can't take that with me. That place that I used to go and unwind by the stream and throw a line in, we're not going to have that. I learned how to ride my bike right down there on the driveway. I remember falling off the first time and skinning up my knee. Man, a lot of memories here. This is where I fill in the blank. That's the loss that's being encountered. The parents are excited because we're just moving on up. Bigger square footage, bigger yard, better neighborhood. Why isn't everybody excited about this? Well, because people process loss. They're not resisting change. They're resisting loss. And I have found this to be absolutely true with people. Because I would go back into the ones that I felt like would be early adopters to change. And I would say, hey, tell me what's really going on. And I would hear things like, well, hey, boss, it's not really about the new way. It's about giving up the old way. And I want us really thinking about that as leaders. Are we processing this when we're asking people to make change? Are we focused too much on what we want people to do when maybe what we need to be focused on more is what we're asking them to give up? Because not everybody is thinking or has had the time to process like you've had the time to think and process. The pain of losing something, it's twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something else. Let me say that again. The pain of losing something is twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something else. Isn't this true? I'm going to get raw here for a minute to make a point. I want you to think about a funeral, attending a funeral of somebody that you cared deeply about. Now I want you to think about your wedding day or the birth of your child. which one maybe had the greater impact? Which one had the greatest power on you? Now, I'm not here to minimize your wedding day. I'm not here to minimize the birth of your child and how exciting that was. But the raw emotion that maybe came from that funeral, maybe I'm alone here. But I can tell you that losing something value that means something to you is twice as powerful as gaining something good. It's almost always the case. And that's really what we're asking people to embark on. It's really not about how great the new thing is. It's about what I'm losing and what you're asking me to give up. When you take this posture, and of course combine it with the 8 steps that I talked about in the mastermind, the 8 steps to change, which are important. But when you have this posture and combine it with a great process, you'll likely have a change management approach that is employee focused and heavy with empathy and heavy with understanding of your team. This approach not only adds to your leadership credibility, but it also helps you build trust with the team that you're leading. So much so, there's data that goes into this. There have been tens of thousands of employees that have been asked questions that went through change. Gallup has found that 2 aspects of leadership that make a significant difference in how people feel change, you could really boil it down to 2 things: trust and communication. Trust and communication. Among those employees in some of these polls that cited significant disruption, they went through the change. Those who strongly agreed that they trusted the leadership of their organization were 4.5 times as likely to be engaged and 62% less likely to feel burnout. Wow. Among those same disrupted employees that went through the change, those who strongly agreed that their leader communicated effectively with the rest of their organization saw similar benefits. 4.3 times as likely to be engaged and 65% less likely to feel burnout. Think of these 2 things: trust and communication. Communication during change requires empathy. Don't think so much about their resisting change, but they're resisting loss. When you do this, your empathy is at a 10. Your communication will go up. What happens then? It begins to foster trust. Communication and trust are the pillars of navigating change with any organization, and it starts with leadership. If you think about this understanding, it's clear that when we lead change through empathy, we build trust. And with trust, we may just capture the hearts of the people to make the changes that are going to have lasting impact and help our companies reach their fullest potential. I hope this episode challenged you all to lead through change. Not only through what's necessary for your company, but leading through change through the eyes of the people that we have the opportunity to serve. I hope this message challenged you. Hey, maybe you would like me to record an episode that talks about the 8 steps of change, and you would like to hear those on a future episode. If that's you and you want us to go through those 8 steps, make sure that you email us at info@jeffhancher.com, and we'll get that episode out to you in the future. Until next week, keep leading well through the change that's inevitable in your organization, and never forget to keep turning the pressure into potential.